See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Shout Out the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
I always, yeah. That's the only way I knew how Jamaica was getting on in the World Cup qualifiers, and then literally just seeing CNN 5-second clips of the goals. But I remember the morning coming down, getting ready for school, and seeing 0-0. I was just like, oh my God. And then CNN showed it up, and I saw like Dion Burton and them lot whining with the girls. I was just like, oh my. I called my sister down from upstairs. I was like, come Lorraine, come down. I mean, literally, it was literally, I'm never ever gonna forget that moment. That moment is just, it's amazing moment. And you know what, the World Cup qualifiers are starting on Friday. Let's hope like this time next year we're celebrating us getting back into another World Cup.
Hopefully, they've definitely made us smile, and by they I mean JFF and 𝗙𝗵 and the coaching staff with the release of the squad list yesterday. Yeah. I think I speak for a lot of us when I say that we're all still smiling from ear to ear because we're pretty pleased with what's on paper. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I am. I'm happy. But obviously, with the situation with the pandemic, it's a bit annoying that we don't actually know where we stand at the moment. We don't know if the full squad is going to be available for the Mexico and the Costa Rica game, or are we just going to be able to just use the homegrown players? So it's a bit annoying, but we're just going to have to just deal with it and just somehow get through it as well. So.
Well, how it's working out definitely for the UK-based players is they will only be available for the Panama game. So it's unfortunate we're not going to see the likes of 𝗙𝗍𝗄 Antonio lining up against Mexico, which I'm guessing a lot of people would have loved to have seen because results are probably very different. It's a little bit difficult to predict what Friday's result could be, bearing in mind the momentum. Everyone's pretty sitting on cloud 9 at the moment, so anything is possible. But I think if you had someone with the caliber of 𝗙𝗍𝗄 Antonio, we'd be going into Friday's game feeling like, okay, it's showtime.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? Like, when I heard his name was getting called up to play for Jamaica, and obviously he was going through his visa issues. And I remember seeing it on Sky Sports News, and I was so over the moon because, like, just having him, like, I'm hoping it can start like a trend now of having like more like English-based players. I know like nobody wants to see just like a full Jamaican team of English-based players, but at the end of the day, we're all Jamaican, innit? We all got the same heritage, and we all live and breathe it. So it was just nice to see Antonio as well, because Antonio is a player, like, he's very underrated for the last like 2-3 years at West Ham. I'd say probably even longer, because he came in as a right back and then he played right wing, left wing. He's played everywhere for West Ham. I think he's even done a job at centre back at one game, if I'm not lying. And then now he's just like, it's just become like one of the best strikers in the league at the moment. And to be fair, player of the month so far this season. I don't think there's been a better player. I think Pogba's had a great start, but who else? I think Danny Ings has had a good start as well for Aston Villa. But for me, Antonio has just stood out. He's had a great start to the season, and I'm just praying that he just stays fit for the next 12 months, because obviously he's picked up a few niggles here and there. And the longer he stays fit, man, it's just so good for Jamaica, man. We finally have like a standout player now that can just attract more viewers to see what Jamaica's really about.
Do you know what, DJ? I think you've touched on something quite important there when you mentioned, you know, how people receive the English-based players, or whether they would like to see a starting 11 of just solely English-based players. And I think people probably be for that if the quality is right.
Yeah.
because like some weeks ago I interviewed Joel Grant, and Joel, like, as we all know, like, he committed to Jamaica at the age of 15. And when you speak to Joel Grant, if you don't know where he was born, you would just assume that this guy is born in Jamaica. He's Jamaican through and through. And with players like Joel Grant, what I like about them is when Jamaica picks up the phone and calls them, they always answer and show up and try to give a good account of themselves, even if it means just sitting on the bench and waiting their turn. They always try to turn up. But I think that now, at present, I don't think a lot of people would be against seeing a starting 11 of English-based players with Jamaican-based players or Jamaican-born players being integrated into the squad, because I think times have changed and people are a little bit more like receptive towards them.
Definitely. I think it's even like with the Italians as well. They never used to pick outside of Serie A, and now, it's just they've got players playing all over Europe now, and they pick them in. So I think it's just the way of the world right now, to be fair. I think like it's all becoming very multicultural, and I think everyone's just taking in each other's cultural background now, and I feel like it makes sense now, innit? Like, to have, I mean, not even just like English-based players as well. Like, I think you've got like, I think this is Javan Anderson. I think he's born in like Holland and he plays in Italy at the moment, and like he's eligible to play for Jamaica as well. So, it's just like you said, it's just best having the best in quality for the team, and I think everyone should be open to that. So
I'm just all about commitment. I'm just like, once you are committed and you know what it means to represent Jamaica, then that's all I care about. I don't care if you play in the Premier League. I don't care if you play in the Egyptian League. I don't care if you play in USL, because I know people frown upon USL players, but let's remind ourselves, one of the best players from the Gold Cup in the summer was none other than Damien Lowe, and Damien Lowe plays in the Egyptian Premier League. Like, how many people watch the Egyptian Premier League? But the same people would stick their noses up at the USL players. So for me, it's just like, I'm just concerned about, number one, your quality, your attitude, and your commitment. And then everything after that is just like, okay, I can deal with that. But
yeah, I mean, that's true. You're saying with the USL and the MLS, because I think the last time we got to the Gold Cup final was really down to Giles Barnes and like Darren Mattocks, and they play in the MLS.
Combination?
Yeah, I do, man, I do. And obviously they played when we beat Chile as well, 2-1.
Yeah. Joel Grant was in that.
Yeah,
game.
He was part of that team. Yeah. I think was it Clayton Donaldson as well? He used to play for Birmingham. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game on Friday. Well, Friday morning for us, Thursday night.
Yeah. Just to remind everyone who's watching from the UK, the game against Mexico, first game for our World Cup qualifier, will be played on Friday at 3 a.m. So early start for us.
Yeah, it is. Like, what I'm gonna do as soon as I get home from work on Thursday night, I'm just gonna go straight to bed and just try and get some early sleep, and then wake up and then watch the game before I go to work. But I am really looking forward to it, though. But it would have been more exciting if obviously the likes of like Antonio, Jamal Lowe, and like Ethan Pinnock, and I think those. Sorry, how can I forget Ravel Morrison as well? All added to that team for Friday. I think we would have had a great opportunity to go and not just get the draw, but to go there and win. I feel like we're getting the players there, but it's just preparation. And I feel sorry for Tapper, innit? Because like he's had a bit of stick from a few people. I understand it as well, but I just feel like at the same time, since the pandemic, we have just not had enough time to get everybody together and get enough minutes under the belt. I think we only played like 3 or 4 games before we went to the Gold Cup. Where if you're actually looking at every other team in Europe, obviously like the top nations like the Brazils and the Argentinas, they've all played about 9, near enough 10 international games. So sometimes those extra 6 games that we've missed out on, that could just benefit us into finding a rhythm and a pattern. Just trying to get the best for the team.
Yeah, it's interesting that you've picked up on preparation because I think that is going to be one of our downfalls, or so far it has been one of our biggest downfall,
Right.
just not having the right preparation. And as I've said, we're all excited with the squad announcement that the JFF put out yesterday, but bearing in mind that we're not going to be able to put together our strongest starting 11, it is very worrying. We've seen Mexico have been training with each other for the past couple of days. We haven't really managed to do that just yet because we have players flying in from across the diaspora, so they haven't managed to get together and put together a solid training session yet. But Mexico have actually managed to do that, and they're going on social media and they're saying that they're getting ready for the game. They're ready for the game, so they are in some sense one step better prepared than us going into this game.
Yeah. See, again, it's just. I mean, I've seen a few videos of some of our players have arrived in on home soil, so it's just like you said, it's just getting that training session in, and obviously just going through a couple of drills and making sure that we're ready, man, because the Aztec is not a place where Jamaica have had good records. I mean, I think we've only ever drawn there once and we've lost there every single other time, but I don't know, I just feel this time, I just think like, obviously off the back of the disappointment from the Gold Cup, I just feel like everyone's just going to be in high spirits and just ready to go on Friday. And then obviously once we get through Friday, we've got the big game back at the office on Sunday night against Panama. So fingers crossed, man. We hopefully just get off to a good start because we need it.
You know, like aside from a lack of preparation from our end, and that's obviously not us pulling excuses out the bag, that's us basically saying it as it is. There is a lack of preparation. We don't have our strongest starting 11. We do have our strongest starting 11 because Mexico is on the red list. We can't put together our strongest starting 11 and preparation in mind. But also just to remind ourselves going into that game, there's one thing that we have in common, or two things we have in common going into that game on Friday, is that we both lost to the USA 1-0. USA beat us in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals at the Gold Cup, and then subsequently beat Mexico in the finals. So there we go. We have two things in common. And with that, I think we're both going to be eager to try and put things right. Because we obviously, aside from the fact that this is a massive rivalry, both countries don't want to lose against each other. Both fans see this as almost like a derby in some sense. We both want to beat each other. But again, based off the fact that we're coming into the game on a 1-0 defeat apiece at the hands of the USA, we will be desperate trying to put things right.
Yeah. Is it so the Mexican players as well that are from the Premier League and Europe,
Raul
they can't play that? Yeah, because I was worried about Raul Jimenez because he's a top striker. He's a top striker, definitely one of the best.
Don't have to worry about him. He's in the Premier League just like the rest of our boys.
Yeah, and obviously 𝗙𝗏𝗆 Lozano as well, that plays for Napoli as well. He's another decent player, but so like realistically, it could be level ground, to be fair. Like, and I just hope that we just, you know, we find a right formula. And obviously we stick to it, and obviously we're gonna have to like take in what the manager's going to be doing with his in-game management. Obviously he's got Paul Hall next to him as well, so it's going to be exciting to see as well. It's going to be exciting to see, but to be honest, I have no idea what the lineup's going to be because you know, it's just, I feel like a good 6 or 7 of our starting lineup from the Gold Cup isn't going to be available, so it's going to be a bit difficult.
I think if we look at the starting 11, one area that we're probably almost certain about is our firepower. So going along with the likes of 𝗙𝗶𝗆 Burke, Mr. Burke himself, and also Nicholson as well. And the good thing with the both of and Flemings, my apologies, the good thing with the likes of Nicholson and Flemings, for the last 2 games, they have had contribution to goal for their respective clubs. So Nicholson, he
Scored a
fantastic.
hat trick, yeah.
A hat trick in his last game, and then the game before that he scored a goal for Junior Flemings. He scored 1 goal, 1 assist in his last 2 games, so they are both in form, so they should be able to come up with something up top. And then you can add Corey Burke to that list as well for our firepower.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know much about Corey Burke before the Gold Cup, but he definitely
Really?
impressed. Yeah, nah, he's not someone that I really, because again, do you know what? I'm gonna lie, I turn my nose up to MLS and
Listen,
and the
at
US
least you're
football.
honest. At least you're
yeah,
honest.
I'm gonna lie, because like the timing difference is difficult to keep up with what's happening, and I'm so in tune with what's happening in the Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, League One, and obviously La Liga. So. And a little bit of the Portuguese league as well, because I just love Portugal football. But yeah, it's he wasn't really one of the players that was on my radar, but he definitely stood out to me throughout the back of the Gold Cup, and I am looking forward to seeing him. I think he'll probably play out wide right, which I think he done quite well against Costa Rica in. 𝗙𝗏𝗆, obviously, like he got off to a great start at the Gold Cup, but didn't really follow up. But I have confidence in him because I think when he moved over really young when he went over to Slovenia. I think he was at I can't remember the name of the team. Is it Maribor? Not Maribor. Sorry, 𝗙𝗏𝗆. Sorry, NK 𝗙𝗏𝗆, and he was like scoring a lot of goals. I think he got like nearly 20 odd goals in his first season, and then obviously got the move to Belgium. And it's been a bit of a slow burner for him there, but I feel like this is the season where he's going to have his breakout, and I think he just needed to get his confidence boost back, and he's got 4 goals already this season. I'm just hoping he can take that confidence into the weekend's game.
I think one of our issues with our firepower is they all have different capabilities and different personalities. And I guess you could say that for the whole starting 11 and also players that are on the benches. They're all like unique in their own way. So the struggle with that is trying to find the right formula that suits the majority of the players, or the creative and impactful players. And I think that's been one of the things that the coach has been struggling with, just trying to get the best out of our forward and creative players. Like one of the players that we need to get the best out of as well is Bobby Reid. Nobody can doubt his abilities. It's just trying to find the right formula that is suited to his game. Yeah,
that's right. Because if you actually look at it, in the areas where Bobby Reid plays majority, we're pretty much stacked in those areas. And, you don't want to just force him into the team, but for someone of his quality, he does kind of deserve to be in. I thought the first game against Suriname, he was fantastic. I think he played like sort of like a 10 role behind 𝗙𝗏𝗆, and he was so good. And then obviously caught the COVID, and then it was unlucky that we didn't get to see him against Mexico. But it's just, again, we are so stacked in those areas. I think we've got Jamal Lowe, who's just got his move today to Bournemouth. Like I'm excited for him, because Bournemouth are definitely going to be knocking on the door for Prem, even though I think Swansea would as well. But I've got a feeling Bournemouth are going to be one that are definitely going to knock at the door. With Scott Parker as a manager as well, and obviously Leon Bailey. Oh gosh, who else was there? Obviously, there's Corey Burke as well. He can play out wide as well. Flemings as well. So, it's going to be difficult, but it's all about having, good competition in the team as well. So, it kind of makes everyone give that extra 10%. And, I'm starting to like this Jamaican team. It's the first team I've liked in a long time. I just feel like there's a decent player in every position now, and we've got a good balance and backup in every position. And I just feel like there's going to be more that's going to keep getting added to the list. I think there's even another one as well. Javon Brown. I think he plays for Vancouver. I saw highlight reels the other day, and he looks tasty, man. He looks all right, and he could be one for the future.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. There's like a good player in every position, which is a massive benefit for us. One of the downside to what we've got at the moment is trying to sort out our squad depth. So trying to make sure that whoever is on the bench can be as impactful as the starting 11. And I think that's probably something that's on the coach's mind. Hence why you would see players like 𝗙𝗏 𝗀𝗏 being called up to the squad. I know he's probably not a fan favorite at the moment. Maybe that's down to the league that he plays in. But I would like to think that if you call upon someone like 𝗙𝗏 𝗀𝗏 with the talent that's around him, he would know that, you know, I have to grab my opportunity with both hands, because you might not get another opportunity. So it's actually great that we have that combination of the experience and players who play in the more notable leagues, for players that play in the USL to look at these players and say, look, when my chance comes, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just, I am looking forward to seeing a lot of the younger generation now. Obviously, like the 𝗙𝗏𝗃 McGee's and
Italy.
Yeah, that's Peter Lee for sale as well. You know, they've all. I think this is all like they're going to be their first World Cup qualifiers, like debut. So, you know, it's no better than to get their chance right now, and hopefully they can try and sustain the spot in the team throughout the qualifiers, because it's going to be a long bumpy road still, because I think a lot of the games are going to be crammed in within the next 6-7 months, obviously due to the pandemic, and I know obviously there's going to be a January international break, which doesn't really happen. I think it doesn't normally happen till like February, mid March, and so we are going to need numbers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Tapper brings on Friday away, and then obviously Sunday's game against Panama.
How are you feeling about Friday? Like, how do you think the game's gonna go? Where do you think it's gonna be our weak position on the pitch and so on?
I'll probably say the midfield.
Yeah.
I am pretty worried about the midfield. We don't really have someone that can break up play and who's got the kind of the mobility and the IQ to just clean up and then recycle possession and keep things going. So I kind of know that we're probably gonna concede quite a lot of possession to the Mexicans, but it's just we're just gonna have to just stay in there and just try and stay strong, try and quiet. And I think I don't know if there's gonna be fans in the Azteca, because if there is, we're gonna have to try and keep them quiet for the first 20 minutes, half hour, at least try and get to halftime 0-0, and then, you know, you give yourself a great chance. But I mean, if we can come out of there with a draw, that's an amazing achievement, that is. But it's just a shame, though, just the players that we've got ready to go now. Like, I really do think we would have had a fantastic opportunity of going there to win the game. But if we can come away with a draw, I'm over the moon with that.
Absolutely. I think, like, going back to the stadium situation, I would think because they're on the red list that surely that would mean it should be played behind closed doors, shouldn't it? So I'll be surprised about that. It's just like, why can't our players come into your country, but then there are fans in the stadium? It doesn't really make sense. Although that was a decision that was made from our end because they're on our red list, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's all a bit like confusing, but I'm not expecting to see fans in the stadium, because I mean,
what I don't understand is when they did the I think March internationals, when we played when we played in Saudi Arabia was in last November, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
yeah, it was November, and then obviously we played USA back in March, and obviously that was behind closed doors as well. So I don't see what the problem is now with why they're blocking Premier League players from leaving, and it's causing a big uproar, to be fair, with clubs and players at the moment. So
yeah, it's weird, because I'm thinking, well, surely if you put the right safety measures in place, then what's the issue?
Yeah, I don't
issue?
understand it. It's not like you said, if it's going to be behind closed doors and they're not going to be mixing with anyone out of the bubble, it's just going to be, they're just going to be here to just do work and then leave the country. I really don't understand it. I feel like it's been going on for so long now. I think everyone's just still a bit confused with what on the organization of everything with the pandemic. It's a difficult one. It's been a really difficult one, but I'm just hoping it feels like it's coming to an end, but I feel like we're still a little bit of a way as well. But I'll just hope it's done by at least by the World Cup. If we qualify for the next World Cup, I just hope the pandemic is over and done with, and we can just go back to some normality.
Do you know why it's so confusing? Because things seem to change like ever so often. So we'll be all right this month, but come October, rules might change. Another country might get added to the red list, and it's the changes that confuse people. Because with changes, every country has like their separate rules, and it's just madness, to be honest.
It really is. But yeah, we just got to stay safe at the moment and just. Just pray to God that we'll stay clear away from the COVID.
Hopefully, as long as they come back fit and healthy, then we obviously don't have nothing to worry about. Because worst case scenario, if any one of them come back with a positive COVID test, then their club, particularly the English-based club, probably would be hesitant to let them go in October. So, so we just have to keep our guard up. And that goes for all the players as well, not just the UK-based players. All the players, keep your guard up and try to just go out there, take one game at a time, and try to just make a good account or give a good account of yourself, because that's all we can ask for as fans.
Yeah, that's it. Because, I mean, look what happened when Bobby Reid picked up the COVID as well. I mean, that definitely affected the squad and obviously the starting lineup for the other two group stage games. So, it's just, it's very important that they just obviously stay in their bubble, just go training when need to go training, come back to the ground. Obviously, if they need to get obviously some physio, just just stay in the bubble.
So limit interactions to as best as possible.
Because obviously, I think is the game at the Independence Park that's going to be behind closed doors as well.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying that I don't think Mexico can be played in front of fans, because you have the unfair advantage, because then our next game is played behind closed doors. So that can't be the case, and I'll be surprised if it is, because you can't dismiss the strength of the 12th man. The 12th man is very important in football.
That's right. It really is.
We should touch on Michael Hector, Big Heck. What do you make of Michael Hector? I'm assuming that the reason why he isn't in the squad that was called up yesterday could be down to maybe he's in the process of moving to a club, which would explain why he's not in the squad. Because I don't think it's a case of them just shutting him out. Because, one thing with Michael Hector, like so many others, when you call him, he shows up. And I think that's something that we should praise Michael Hector for. So I'm just hoping that it's not a case of the door's just been slammed in his face, because to think that you've given your service to Jamaica for all these years, and when it truly matters, where you want to go out there and play for your country, to not be involved in that, even if it's just the qualifiers. Bearing in mind that we've called up so many players, I think that would not be the right call. It's not something that I would be in favor of.
Yeah, 100%. You know why? Because as well, he seems to be like the big brothers to the English-born players that come out there, and he seems to be the one that just puts his arm around their shoulder and says, "Nah, listen, just kind of makes everyone feel comfortable." So. Sometimes you need those players in the squad. I understand maybe on the pitch he's not at his best at the moment, and I think it's probably due to the lack of minutes that he's been getting for the last year. I think he came up with Fulham, played a few games into the season, and then I think Scott Parker left him out, and he didn't really get many minutes apart from the odd cup game here and there, and all that hinders on your performance. You need to be playing football week in, week out to get your rhythm back. And he just hasn't had that for the last 18 months. And it's affected the last few of his performance, especially when we played USA. And it's one of the worst performances I've ever seen of Michael Hector. And I think he's a decent player as well. But I think it's just the lack of minutes. But, we always need someone in the changing rooms that's good with everyone and that can bridge the gap. with, you know, the homegrown players and, you know, the players from abroad and obviously the English-based players. And I feel like he's very good. He's one of the captain materials for this squad, and I feel like there's always a space for him. But I just feel like maybe not at the minute because of the lack of minutes.
No, I agree with you as well. And let's remind ourselves that at one point, this guy was, but his parent club was Chelsea. So, you know, he could have had a hype about him and say, you know, who is Jamaica? No, I'll sit around, I go when my mind tells me to go and stuff like that. But he's been a true professional. And I think, you know, he deserves his reward. Like I said, maybe it's just a case of him trying to sort out his club. Maybe he's in the process of finding a new club. But if that's not the case, then surely, you know, let's not slam the door in his face. Let's at least give him a taste at the qualifiers and thank him for his service. If we're not going to see him play for Jamaica for the duration of the World Cup, and if we qualify, then maybe we won't see him at the World Cup. But yeah, just to give him a nice little thank you, because I think that's the least that he deserves.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think it's the same thing with like Andre Gray as well. Obviously, he didn't. Well, he was at Watford, but again, not getting the minutes. But now he's gone to QPR, so we might see Andre Gray back in the mix. So hopefully for the October international. So it's just it's just getting himself back into a position of playing football week in, week out again. That's all I can really say at the moment. I don't think it's anything tactically, and I don't feel like it's just not wanting him around, because I feel like again he is one of the leaders and he's definitely a captain material for this for the Jamaica. And I think we haven't really got many leaders in the team, to be fair, and you know, you always need a leader in there.
Yeah, he's got the right attitude for definite. So I think it's just like you said, for the young players. So, you know, like your Peter Lee and your Lamar, you want a player like Michael around just to guide them, and, you know, so they know how to conduct themselves. Not saying that they're just like mischievous, like young players, but just so they stay on the right path. You want some good leaders around them to just kind of show them the ropes and let them know how it should be done.
That's right.
Definitely. So what's your prediction for Friday's game? How are we looking? We're going for a draw, we're going for a cheeky win, surprise win. What we're going for?
Like I was saying, because obviously there's so many players that's not going to be able to be involved. I'm gonna go for a draw.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's that? Is that a stalemate or?
Yeah, do you know what? I feel like it's gonna be 0-0.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be 0-0. I don't know if I see a goal in it. I'd only see a goal in it if Antonio is there. I just feel like he's on such hot form right now. It doesn't matter what you put in front of him. He's going to he's going to score. I'm telling you, if he's in that team on Sunday, he's scoring against Panama. But for the Mexico game, I feel like it will be a 0-0 draw. I feel like we'll just stifle them, and we'll make it hard for them as well. Obviously, we'll have a low block, and I think we'll just keep them quiet for the majority of the game. They'll probably have a few chances, but
look at you. Yeah, they'll probably have a few chances.
Yeah, but I think we'll be all right, man. Yeah, you know, we've got Blake in the goal. Lowe's just seems to be getting better and better.
Yes,
we'll have Taxi and Powell. They'll be in the team as well. So, you know, we'll still have some experience, and I'm confident we can get a point there.
Fingers crossed. I hope you're right, because a point will do us just about fine.
Perfect.
Bearing in mind we are wafer thin at the moment, and that's no disrespect to the rest of the players, but it's not our strongest starting 11. It won't be our strongest starting 11. But hopefully we can grind out a decent result.
Yeah, please. I mean, again, Mexico, they're not gonna have their strongest team as well, so. It should be a level playing field, really, and we're both going to lose out on some real quality players. But I feel like we should be able. I think we're good enough, definitely, to go there and get a draw. And like you said, we both lost to USA 1-0, so there's not much far off on quality of side of things. But it's just down to the preparation. I just hope that, you know, we're putting in the extra hours in the training field, and you know, so we're real ready to go on Friday.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. DJ, I'm so glad that we've finally managed to sit down, because I've been wanting this to happen since the last Gold Cup. So thank you so much for blessing me with your time. And I know this is not going to be the last, even though you're a Manchester United fan. Even though you're a Red Devil, I'm going to bring you back again.
Yeah.